that's the thing about parenting, man. You never know that you're doing it right. Like you see stories now of kids freaking 35 years old and goes and kills a bunch of people. I know his parents are like, yo, I didn't raise him to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought after 18 I was done. But parenting never ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, so from that perspective, like, all I can do is try to instill values in my children. You know what I'm saying? The same, like, dude, your responsibility is make up your bed, take the trash out. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Open the door, hold the door for women.
Welcome back to another episode of This My Baby Daddy podcast. It's your boy AJ.
It's the bougie baby daddy, Eli. And today we got somebody that's all around entertainer. You hear him on 102 Jams every morning. He's all over the place. At every Carolina game. Like, he has so many titles that I don't even know all of them. Mr. B Daht.
What's happening? Appreciate y'all for having me, man, for sure. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it,
yes, sir. Yeah, I'm a baby daddy too, so what's happening? I ain't got a bougie name and all of that, but I'm a baby daddy. I've been out here reproducing, you understand?
Hey, you been there dropping loads all over.
Okay, be easy. No, for sure, man. I'm happy to be here, man, for sure.
Nah, man, me and him, AJ was talking. We was like, yo, who can we get that's just live? And, you know, met you earlier today and just watching your career, you blossoming out here. And just appreciate I like the humble flex.
Those are facts.
Hey, for sure. But hey, man, like I said, man, just coming here sharing your story, we really appreciate it again. So
that's what's up.
We'll get to it.
Do it.
So what we're going to do, we're going to start you off with the first question that we ask everybody, right? Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you to be a father?
Oh, that's everything. Right, and every father can understand that, man. Like, I'm pretty sure every father has the same story as, you know, being a father changed our lives. I was extremely ratchet before I had my son, man. I was at Winston-Salem State University. I was about to graduate around 2006. I met this bad chocolate thing that went to A&T. Oh, I was at the club.
Oh, you kept everything HBCU.
Everything.
That's the way I like it. Look, that's what. Look, keep it all CIAA with that little me acting.
Everything we got is HBCU.
Word.
Behind the camera.
Word.
Yeah, everybody in here.
Everything.
Liberty City, Phelps State.
Like
We all over the place in here.
Respect.
All black everything.
Who Elizabeth City? Oh, man, we lost to Elizabeth City this year, and they've been on my head about it. My boy LG Burner been giving me hell about it.
You should feel bad about that.
I should. Then Fayetteville State, we just lost to y'all last week.
Yeah.
That's respect.
You know, but whatever. That's not the here nor there. We're talking about parenting. But, you know, before I had my son, man, like I was very, very a different person. You know what I'm saying? Like cornrows, just really no direction.
Did you
smoking
just look
weed
up at his head?
I'm like,
I'm back now though. Like, but it was different though. It was different. It was
a
very,
different
very
time in
different.
2000.
No, you had the size. You had the size.
Cornrows,
Yeah,
everything was different in 2006.
Everything was different, bro.
Everything
We
was
was
different.
snapping and it was ridiculous. And you know, when my lady at the time, who is now my wife, when she told me she was pregnant, man, we were super ecstatic. Like, it wasn't even one of those situations where we thought about not having it or nothing. Like, we were just excited and just thought about thinking about names and just happy about it. And when my son came, man, like, it was the best thing for me because it gave me perspective on life. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those situations where I got to stop living for just myself. You know what I'm saying? I got to stop being silly out here and riding around with weed in the car and getting pulled over by cops and going downtown and just stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had something to live for. And, you know, I talk about the cornrows because at that time, you know, cornrows, Jabot jeans, 5X white tees. You know what I'm saying?
Stereotypes.
That, you know what I'm saying?
So I know exactly what you're saying.
I cut my cornrows off because I didn't want my son to be viewed negatively just because of the way his dad was presenting himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was those types changes, and it just put me in a much better space, man. Like, and you know, here we are 15 years later. He's a sophomore in high school. I got a 9-year-old daughter. She's a 4th grader. They're both straight A students, and he plays basketball, and life is good, man.
You a straight A student?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, not even close. Now, his mom was a straight A student.
Look, I had to ask that. I was like, all right.
I was happy to bring a C home. Like, you see
God.
this? Do you see this C? I made it, baby. Passing, that's passing, ain't it? No, for real, man. Like, grades wasn't something that was big with me, man. Like, I was always the class clown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was always the dude that just got in trouble for saying inappropriate stuff during class, and just that type vibe. That was always me, just a person who would control a room and just engage with people and make them. And I never really knew that I was honing the skills that would make me successful as an adult. You know what I'm saying?
talking.
Basically, and getting in trouble and learning how to get out of trouble by talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, I was a felon at 16, so I always felt like I would have to talk. I always felt like you can't look at my record and give me a job. Like, I would have to talk to the manager and win them over that way.
Yeah,
I got to. I've always felt like that, so I was always blessed with that gift of gab, and it's bode well for me.
Oh, wow. So when you look back at it and you're raising your children now, after all the things that you've experienced, how do you feel like you learned to be a father?
I learned to be a father from the absence of my father.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, real quick story about me. I just met my birth father about 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
When I was 14, headed into high school, my parents got a divorce. And that was when it was told to me that the guy whose last name I have, who I thought was my dad, was not my birth father. My actual birth father was locked up in California. And he and I, we would write and stuff, and he got out of jail, and over the years, we just never really could link up and meet. And there were times I tried to fly him out to North Carolina, but he was, just give me stuff like, I don't want the first time us meeting is on your dime type joint. And I would view that as a cop-out, but being a parent now, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so about 5 years ago, I flew out to Minnesota, and I actually met him, and he was a cool dude. His name's Reggie, and it was super, super dope, man. So, like, what you laughed at?
That's my father's name.
Word?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's on my arm.
Word. No, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Dang.
We believe you.
No,
Fuck up. This nigga's an ass.
I'm like, yo,
right there on my arm. Want me to see that kappa right there? I see
That's
what doing.
big, that's
Kappa
big
man
nigga.
over there.
You surrounded, but it's all right. Yeah, nah, that's why we glad.
Hey.
That was real bad. We glad you ain't make it.
Y'all some hoes, man. Nah, man, but when my pops got a divorce when I was in high school, high school, man, those are the most important years. So that's when you transition into young mandom. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he wasn't there. So, like, for lack of better words, like, the streets sort of raised me. Like, I was never a thug or streets like that, but just the love that I got from my peers in the streets and the OGs in the hood and stuff like that, those are the things that attracted me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, now that I'm a parent, like, it's just very important that I support my children. You know what I'm saying? Like, being present, you know what I'm saying? Representation matters, and just being there at events and supporting them, and being there when he gets cut from a basketball team, and I'm the first person he sees, and we can chop it up, and letting him know that it's okay to cry and show your emotions and things like that. Those are things that are important to me from a parenting perspective, man. And, I missed out on a lot of that from that paternal side, that fatherly side. My mother gave as much as she could, but you need that father. You need that man.
You need that male, yeah. Because what's that conversation that that women can't raise men?
Right. And
I think that's kind of true to a certain extent. Because there's certain things that they can't really give you.
They can't.
Can't quite give you. They give you as much as they can, but they can't replace that void.
Well, see, moms, they parent from a nurturing component. And fathers, we father more or parent more from a trials and experience type situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we know that it's the experiences that you go through that's going to develop that character. You know what I'm saying? Like, moms, they never want you to fall. They never want you to hurt yourself. They always want to be able to catch you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I want you to scrape your knee,
you know
break
what
a
I'm saying?
bone, like,
but
be
like
a boy.
But
that
see,
type of
we
shit.
know that that's going to happen. Yeah. And when it does happen, there isn't going to be anybody there to help you up. You have to be able to help yourself up. So we just parent differently. Like, mothers do great jobs, especially single mothers. Hats off to y'all. Mothers do great jobs raising their children and raising boys to be men. But that father component is necessary. It's vital, especially in the black homes, man. Like, and we have to do better jobs as black men in making sure that even if we aren't in the home physically, that we're still a presence in our children's lives, for sure.
So let me ask you that then. Since you didn't have a direct influence, now that you are a father, what do you look for in a support system to help you parent?
Honestly, I do have relationships with my again, the gentleman whose last name I have, Jeff McLaughlin, who I do view as my father.
Okay.
We have a great relationship now. You know, when he and my mother got divorced, it was stale for many years. You know what I mean? But again, one of those situations. Once I became a parent, and you in relationships with women on that level, you realize that sometimes shit just don't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not that you hate the person. You can love a person, but y'all just aren't meant to be together. And from that perspective, he and our relationship grew exponentially. So, you know, just chopping it up with him. And honestly, man, like, some stuff is just common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just like to always have an open dialogue with my children. Like, you know, when we were growing up, a lot of times we were always told, stay in a child's place, or if we had a question, because I said so, and shit like that. I don't parent like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if my children have questions, we can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? From anything, from porn to freaking religion to racism to whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about it. And we've always had that open communication and dialogue. So it's not strange. It can get awkward sometimes. Like, I promise, like, I was in the car with my son maybe a couple months ago, and he's like, it's just me and him riding, and he said, "Dad, do you watch porn?" And I'm like, I'm driving, right? And I'm like,
yo, what site? What you looking
I'm
for?
like, yeah, you know, sometimes. And he like, yeah, me too. and I look like, yo, but like I'm a comedian too.
You asked him what his category
You
is.
know I did, E. You know I did. My first question to him was, what tab you be on? He said, big booty Latinas.
Brazilians
I
or
found my
Colombians?
man. Hey, I ain't mad at that, now.
Brazilians or Colombians?
I ain't mad at that. See, I don't know, but whatever Latina he likes. But you know, we joked about that, but then it was one of those times for me to tell him, like, bro, like, porn is not something that you should be watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, you know, like, when you're squeezing off and all that kind of foolishness, like, you gotta understand, like, that's life. Yes. That's legit life. Like, and you're putting life in a napkin or a towel, sock, whatever you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
you went through all the ones.
Yeah, legit, right? Because, you know, in prison they had a sock, and they put the sock in the couch, and they just be in the couch like, look, that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about it. But seriously though, like, it's awkward having those conversations, but it's necessary.
For sure.
Because him and his homies is talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one time his mother and I got into an argument because when he was in the 7th grade, he asked me, what does it mean to nut? And the moment he asked me what it meant to nut, I went to the store, we got a banana, we got some condoms, and I showed him how to put condoms on. And he was 12 years old, because I know that they're having these conversations.
Right.
And see, that's the thing that my wife and mothers don't really understand. Like, we know what you're talking about in the locker rooms after football games in 7th grade and 8th grade. We've been there.
Yep.
See, mom hasn't been there, so what mom wants you to do is not talk about that. Don't worry about that, you know.
Yeah.
But no. We can't shelter them like that, like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to be the ones that they feel comfortable having those conversations with, because if we don't, these niggas in the streets gonna be raising our sons.
And they're
dog.
gonna be lost.
Lost as hell.
Like, because that's, like you said, that's all life. That's all part of growing up. That's all a part of, like, maturing from a young age to you need those lessons.
Right.
But so everything that you're talking from it comes from a level of maturity.
Right.
Have you always been that way in your parenting style, or did you have to grow into this role?
No, I feel like I've always been here.
Really?
Yeah. I really feel like I've always been here. Like, from the jump. Like, again, when I had Isaiah, man, like, it was so special to me. Like, because, again, I was living a life, I really had no direction. Okay. I was on the radio. I got on radio at 102 Jams around 2004. I had my son in 2006. But within those 2 years, I wasn't full-time. They weren't paying me big dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was doing prank phone calls, and I was a heavy hitter in the area, but I didn't really know what that was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, you know, I was still out in the streets, I was still in the clubs, I was still doing that kind of stuff. But when I had Isaiah, it was a focus of, all right, family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want my lady, I want my son, I want my family. How do I progress with this? You know what I'm saying? How do I make this strong? Like, that's when I started being more serious and more intentional. Like, that's something that's a word that I learned in therapy a couple of years ago. Like this, and I didn't realize I was doing it then, but now when I think back, it was most certainly, but intentional. You got to be intentional about things, and I was intentional about being a good parent. Right. Like, I didn't know what kind of radio personality I was going to be, what kind of boyfriend or husband, but I knew I was gonna be a great fucking father, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you couldn't say anything else about me, you were gonna say, he's a great dad. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was intentional about that. And You know, my son was with me everywhere. Barbershop, I would be doing PA for games and stuff, and he would be riding his carrot right there beside me. You know, he was always with me. And so I don't think that's ever anything that I've ever really struggled with, parenting. Like, I've always had great pride in being a great father for my kids.
Because you understood the commitment and the sacrifice that goes into it from the very beginning.
Because I knew what wasn't there.
Yeah.
And see,
You learn from
I get
what's not
that a
there.
lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's almost like the negatives teach you how to be better before you even get there.
In everything, though. Like, my wife and I, we talk about that all the time because, you know, our job as parents, fathers, mothers, our job as parents is to make sure that our children have better lives than we had, right?
No doubt.
That's all we want to do. But with that comes another side that's sort of, because the struggle that we had is what makes us great.
Man, you preach.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that my father wasn't there, he wasn't supporting me, those type things made me the man that I am. Right. So I always battle with, you know, having my child in this great school, in this great
talk
school
about this all the
district.
time.
You know what I'm saying?
We
Like,
talk about
does
this.
that cripple them? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you still
Do you feel like that, though?
I do.
Now,
I do.
That's a great point. So, what's your strategy to counterbalancing that? Because we talk about that all the time. I used to say, like, my daughter grew up actually in Cary.
Okay.
And if you know anything about Cary is not predominantly black.
Right.
The schools are not populated by us much at all.
Right.
And then you live in more upscale, whatever, however you want to phrase it.
Right.
You're not growing up the same way I grew up. You're not having the same challenges.
Right.
But their challenges are not challenges that
Right.
we experience,
Right.
that we're really not quite familiar with. But so how do you kind of find that balance?
Honestly, man, it really scares me because I don't even know if I found that balance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's trial and error. Like, and that's the thing about parenting, man. You never know that you're doing it right. Like, you see stories now, a kid is freaking 35 years old and goes and kills a bunch of people. I know his parents are like, yo,
Yeah, I didn't
like,
raise him to do that.
I didn't raise him to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
you're right.
I thought after 18 I was done.
Yeah.
But parenting never ends. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so from that perspective, like, all I can do is try to instill values in my children. You know what I'm saying? The same, like, dude, your responsibility is make up your bed, take the trash out. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Open the door, hold the door for women. You know, I try to instill those values. Since Isaiah was 4 or 5,
Right.
integrity has always been our word. Like, if he was in here right now and I just said, Zay, what's integrity? He would scream out back to me, integrity is how you act when no one's watching. Period. Like, that's been instilled in him since he was a little boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and those are the things. And so when things are going on now, and he's in situations where he's coming home telling me, man, Dad, you know, one of my homies, we was walking and he ducked off to go get some head from a chick, won't. I'm telling him, like, integrity, son, because the reality is you're about to be presented with these same issues. Yep. How are you gonna act? It's gonna be a line in the sand. They're gonna be like, yo, Zay, you need to go get sucked off. Do you wanna get sucked off and be cool in front of them? Or do you wanna bring your ass home because you know that's the right thing to do? And that's a difficult thing. And I tell them, bro, and I'm not gonna say that you're gonna always make the right decision.
Right.
But what you need to understand is whatever decision you make, I'm gonna be there behind you, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for him to know that I trust him enough to allow him to give him that room, for him to know that he can come talk to me about legit anything, I'm comfortable with wherever our relationship goes. You know what I'm saying? So again, to answer that question, man, I don't know, because I grew up in white schools. But I grew up in white schools. All of us was poor. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the school.
That classes.
Yeah, like the school. Like, I went to go pick him up for basketball practice the other day, and like their seniors are driving Audis.
Yeah.
I'm driving an Audi. This is the first time I've ever had an Audi.
Yeah.
And they're 16, 17 driving Audis. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, like those types, and when you say the differences that they have are different from the differences we had, like with the social media and trying to keep up with the Joneses and all of that, like, it's very, very difficult to try to combat all of that. But I just try to keep, again, open communication. That's the only thing that I can say that I do that. And I have friends that, you know, they don't raise their children the same way. And sometimes they feel like that I'm too open. And I have too open of a communication process with my children.
Do they feel like you're more friend than?
No.
Okay.
No.
This is a hard line that you have to draw when you're doing that.
My kids don't think we're friends.
Okay.
They know I'm dad, but
Yeah.
they know that we can talk. They know that, like, I'm never gonna daggone tell them, don't talk to me about that, or that's none of your business. I'm talking about, we can talk about bills. Like, Dad, how much money are they paying you for such and such? Y'all know growing up, our parents would never tell us no foolishness like that.
not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
But that cripples us. Because when you're growing up, you should know how much money was coming in the house.
Because you should
and
learn
what the
finances.
bills are.
You should learn.
Yeah, you got to learn.
You see what I'm saying?
But at the same time, if we want to be honest,
Right.
parents really didn't know. Well,
didn't
let
know.
me speak
Right.
for my people I knew. It didn't feel like everyone had the most financial savvy information and knowledge.
Right.
And so
Right.
kind of
And you can't fault
handicapped
people for what they didn't know.
Yeah, you can't fault people for what they didn't know.
That's fair.
So at the same time, we do know better.
Right.
And if our kids don't know better, then that's an indictment on us.
100%.
So now we're keeping that cycle ongoing.
100%.
And so it kind of gets me back to a point. So it sounds like with you and the communication is great. But what are you learning from your children as they continue to grow up that you need to incorporate to keep making you better?
That's a good question. Patience. I'm not a patient person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, I'm not a patient person with time. I'm not a patient person with things that I say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up, again, I didn't realize we were poor. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always had Christmases, we always had birthdays, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I never had Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Like, my starter jacket was a little bit different than everybody else's starter jacket. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, we come from an era of Jonesing. It wasn't no bullying. Bullying for us was to give you a wedgie. You know what I'm saying? Slap your glasses off. That's bullying. We come from an era of Jonesing. And, cats with Jones. And me, my words, I learned to use words as weapons.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? Sharp. Sharp with it.
Sharp
you know
and
what I'm saying?
quick.
Super witty. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, and that ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? I mastered that. So like, like if somebody come at me and say something I don't like, I'm gonna come back immediately. You know
Oh,
what I'm
word,
saying?
let's see.
This is what I get paid to do now. I'm a professional. But nah, man, but even not just jonesing, but like, in my relationships with my wife or coworkers, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody say something and I've always felt that defense mechanism. Like I've always felt like I got to hit you first before you hit me. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, and so if somebody says something, I feel like I'm being disrespected, I got to come out there. Yep. And sometimes they don't even mean it like that. It's like, yo, like, why did you go so hard, Dot? I ain't
Hair trigger.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm talking about John Wick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Well, he couldn't fight, but he could shoot.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, like I've learned that, when the kids do something to say something, I can't just boom chop their heads off because their mentals are gentle. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
a whole nother topic.
Their mentals
That's
are
a
gentle.
whole
So
nother
you gotta be a little bit more passionate. And I'm not an empath. Like I'm not a coddler. That's not my strong suit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just talking, I got a therapy session next week and I was telling my folks on Facebook, like, that's something I really have to talk about. Like my wife and I, we were having a disagreement a week or so ago and, she got very upset and she started crying. And I shut down. Like I'm not the oh baby, I'm sorry. Like what can we calm down?
It's more like,
it's like, man.
All right,
man,
look, you're gonna start flexing
like,
on you.
yo,
oh, shut the fuck up.
Reggie, yeah.
They hit you with the whole, like, no, you want to cry? Cry.
Facts.
Cry. Go
Facts.
ahead. I ain't not getting over me with this shit.
Facts.
You go ahead and deal with that.
And I think it's because growing up, I saw so many people weaponize crying, like use it to you know what I'm saying, to manipulate situations.
My God.
And it numbed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now as an adult, I don't have that. It's a super detached. It's super difficult
If
for
you
me,
get
bro.
numb to seeing people crying and all that other
I used
stuff,
to
it's
say,
hard.
I used to say crying and your words don't mean anything to me. And now I look back, that's kind of harsh. But I really meant it because I'm like, yo, you can put on a show and you can tell me the world.
Right.
It don't really mean anything until I actually see it in action.
Right.
And I have that same problem too. It's like, yo, don't talk my head. I say don't talk my head off because I hate it.
Fair.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And see, like,
Nothing worse than an adult crier.
Oh,
dude. And see, I don't cry. Like I'm not a crier. Like if I cry, it's because.
I'm glad you're going to therapy then.
Yeah, for real. Seriously, but see, this is something I learned in therapy. Like, I compartmentalize. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I compartmentalize to a fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, if something hurts me, I put it here. I don't have time to deal with that. I'm too focused here trying to be successful. I'm trying to be a successful parent, trying to be a successful husband, trying to be a successful radio personality, entertainer, host. I don't have time for the sad stuff. So that's got to get shifted to the side, and then you just compartmentalize so many things. Oh, dad ain't there? Compartmentalize it. Oh, you and your mom beefing? Compartmentalize it. Oh, your wife upset, she crying? Compartmentalize it. I don't have time for that. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's dangerous, you know what I'm saying, to sort of suffocate those emotions. You know what I mean? Like,
Because you detach a little bit, because it's a lot of unresolved things.
100%.
That's tough.
100%.
Yeah, that's
and like
tough.
those are the things that I'm sort of learning how to deal with. Like, and that's what, you know, with therapy and God and just, you know, communication, like that's something that I would say that my children are helping me with for sure.
Oh, wow.
That's a reoccurring theme,
What's
the
that?
therapy amongst our dads that we have on the show.
Oh, man.
Becoming more prevalent.
It should
Yes.
be. And good. Hats off to that. Hats off to therapy. Hats off to black people, black men specifically, understanding that you can be vulnerable and you can go to therapy.
And we all have trauma.
Absolutely.
We all, and it's amazing because how many years ago did it even start to realize that men, and especially black men, we all have some level of trauma that's unrealized and unaddressed. And that's important. And so that's another message that we need to kind of continue preaching, especially through people like you and the other guests that we had. Even my man behind the camera, he was one of the ones that first advocated for therapy on our show.
Oh, that's dope.
And we hope more people
He
kind of
stuttered
take
through it, but he did it.
Did he stutter through it?
No, he stutters through. He talks like a sloth. It's slow.
Hey, he got to get his point
We had
across,
we had to speed up the audio.
1.5. Hit that on the 1.5X. Let's do that.
Don't cut this shit out either.
Oh yeah. Ain't none of this gonna make the reel. No, therapy is important, man. Like I started therapy because my marriage was in the balance, and
That's a recurring thing too.
I was doing a bunch of things that I knew were damaging my marriage, and I knew how much I wanted my marriage, but I didn't understand why I was still doing this stupid shit and putting my marriage in jeopardy. And I needed to talk to someone who was smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? I was always told, if you're the smartest person in the room, get out. You're in the wrong damn room. And I don't have a problem talking to people who are smarter than me. And I wanted to talk to, and I thought that I wanted to talk to a black man because I felt like I'm a black man, he would understand. And when I went to go to the session, the black man was booked and they gave me a black woman. And I didn't want to talk to no black woman. I thought she was going to be the best thing ever. Yeah. It was the best thing ever. And because I had tried therapy some years back, and I wanted to go to someone who didn't look anything like me, who didn't know my plight. So I went to a white woman. No, it may work for you. It did not work for me.
Yeah.
It did not work for me. And like, you know, we just couldn't. And that's something else too. Like your first therapist you go to, or the first counselor you go to, it might not be the right one. You know, you might have to search around a little
Mine
bit.
show wasn't. It was like I was talking to one of my homeboys, and I was like, "Well, look, hey, look, I was sitting there, I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
I was like, it was after I like had my divorce, and I was trying to get myself together, and after my mom passed, and I was like, yo, all right, let me go talk to somebody, because I don't know how to deal with anything.
Right.
And I'm sitting there talking to this joke. It was like, yo, I'm sitting there chilling with one of the boys.
Right.
And I'm like, I went about 5, 6 times. I said, you know what? I'm just paying to talk to you. I pick up the phone and talk to the same person.
Yeah, for sure.
And I ain't went back since. So I was like kind of scarred. Now, did
That's
I
why you
learn
fucked up.
something? I did learn something.
Right.
Not to go to
use it.
somebody that look like me.
That's a good point. Trial and error, man.
Yeah,
that's how we do, man. Trial and error, dog. Like, but and see the thing about that, the thing that's dangerous about someone that knows you is they're gonna always be on your side.
That's the problem.
By accident.
That's the problem.
Oh man, she was tripping, man.
Yeah,
Y'all know it,
that's
man.
the
Now
problem.
you know.
Yeah.
Listen, they're gonna always find a way to paint it where you're right, and you're not always right. And you need someone who can tell you you're not right, that you trust. You see what I'm saying? Like, and you trust them because you don't know them. They don't have a dog in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know you. Like, they're getting paid by the hour. You are on an assembly line. So what they're telling you is 100% factual from their perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would definitely implore you to try again. You know
Oh
what
no,
I'm saying?
I'm definitely gonna try again. Me and my
for
wife
sure.
talk about it all the time, getting our kids in.
Yep,
You
my
know,
son
no
does
matter
therapy.
how
Yep.
well we think our relationships are,
Right.
something we don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we commend you for that, and that's something we're gonna keep preaching.
Yeah, for sure.
But you hit on something else when you was talking about therapy, like, well, dad is not always there or whatever, and that's because you have a million things going on.
Yeah.
How does that impact your parenting? That you're on the road, that your career's taking off, that you unofficially Jamaican with all these jobs.
Legit. No, you know, my daughter, I haven't been home the past couple of days because I was telling y'all earlier, it's been a busy week, and you know, I live in Charlotte, but I work in Greensboro, so I'm doing a lot of commuting. And you know, when I have a lot of events on the Greensboro side, I usually just get a room and just stay down there right by the station. So the last couple of days I haven't been home, and you know, my daughter sent me a text message early today, and she was just like, "Daddy, I miss you." You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, "Well, I'll see you tonight." You know, and she was very excited. So it's those type things, man. Like, they know that I'm not far away, even though Daddy's working, and they understand that Daddy's not away because he doesn't want to be with y'all. Daddy's away right now because he's creating a life for us to be super, super successful with. Right. You know what I'm saying? And they love what I do. You know, like, you know, luckily it's a job where they can hear me, they can see me, you know what I mean? Like, they can come with me to games and events and stuff like that. They love doing that kind of stuff. My son is a huge Tar Heel fan, so when I'm at games and he can go to games, of course he loves that. And you know, when I'm at concerts and stuff, he's at an age now where he can come out to the little concerts and stuff. So, you know, we have our relationships, and we have our individual relationships. My daughter, she's big in gymnastics and stuff like that. So I'm, you know, every chance I get, I'm taking her to her practices when, you know, when she gets back in that. And you know, my son, I'm at his practices for basketball and stuff like that. So I try to, the time that I do have, I try to make sure I make it as important and as impactful as possible. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that when I am away, you know, and again, there are things that I miss, and that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I've missed Christmas plays and performances and honor roll presentations and stuff, but in situations like that, you know, Mom has me on FaceTime, and you know, I make sure I wait till it gets real quiet and scream like hell on the FaceTime so they know Daddy's there. Yeah, and they all, "Dad, you embarrassed me." You know,
you're the graduation parent that people hate.
For sure. I say I love you. No, for sure, man, for sure. But you know, it does get difficult. It does have its moments where it really sucks, but again, the four of us, my wife, my children, and I, we understand that there's a greater good. You know what I mean?
Because it sounds like, for the most part, that you have, your family is involved in, it's like a family success. And your success is family success. 100%. Now, even with the FaceTimes, even with the obnoxious yelling, do you ever feel like when you're actually in the home, like at home, do you ever feel like you have to overcompensate any to kind of make up for the times that you had to go hit the road for a little bit?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever actually really thought about it, but sometimes, you know, you know, just in the idea of, you know, when I get home tonight, I'll probably get back to Charlotte about 8 o'clock. I'm gonna want to lay down and do nothing, because I'm gonna have to get right back on the road at 4:30 in the morning to get to 102 Jams by 6 tomorrow morning. But I haven't seen them, you know, so I'll probably grab Ryan and we'll go grab some ice cream or something, or go grab something to eat, and just to have that time. So that's what I would consider overcompensating. Things that I don't really want to do, but I feel like I have to do it just to make sure I get that time in, type stuff. But again, like, it's part of the job. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the parenting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and those are the things that we have to do.
That's part of that sacrifice we were talking about earlier.
You have to do those things, man. Like, and those are the things that they remember. You know, those are the things that they'll say, "Dang, man," like when they get older, they'll be like, "Dang, my dad had worked all freaking week and came home and made sure he took me to get some ice cream because he know that I like ice cream."
You would hope so.
Yeah, for sure.
You would hope they remember.
But we all done that though.
Yeah.
Like I've grown up now, and I'm like, damn, like my mom, she raised the three of us, and my mom was a nail tech. Like, my mom did a job that really wasn't necessary. Like, nobody needs to get their nails done. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like she was a barber even. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to get your hair done, but nails, that's something that you do extra.
You can do yourself.
She raised the three of us doing nails. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and when I think about stuff like that, I can only think about, damn, like, the struggle for her had to be immense. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, I just told y'all, I didn't know we were poor. You know what I'm saying? Like, Christmases were still great. Whatever we had on our Christmas list, 9 times out of 10, it was under that tree. From the three of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, when you look back, those are the things that make you send Mom a text in the middle of the afternoon on a Thursday, just like, "Mom, thank you, man." You know, and I know you said you lost your mom, so I say that, you know, tactfully. But, you know, you just remember those things, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just, I do hope that when they're older, they do understand the sacrifices that their mother and I have made for them to be in the situation that they're in.
Yeah, no, I even though those are the things that you think back on as an adult, you're like, you know what? They sacrificed this so that I could have this. I'm tired. I can sacrifice 30, 45 minutes for my children to make sure that they know that I love them.
Exactly.
But it kind of goes back to something that you were talking about earlier when you was talking about the men not showing or not being like the nurturers.
Right.
To me, it sounds like our generation now is becoming more nurturing because we take the time out to do those types of things. So it seems like now men are becoming more well-rounded.
Right. I hope you're right.
It's kind of dope to see,
Yeah.
but it also makes me feel like, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but it also makes me feel like we still need some of that old thing to we need to reincorporate some of that toughness in our kids.
Yeah.
So
I
don't know how to do it. I don't know how to strike that, but you know, it's kind of important.
Yeah.
So I do have a question for you.
Okay.
So you sound like you really, really enjoy being a father, right?
Love it.
When was your first moment, though, that you felt like, I'm really a dad? You know what I mean? Is that first moment when you hit you like, damn, I'm a father?
On the most basic level, I would probably think, you know, just at the hospital. Just at the hospital when he was born.
That's the most basic one you can
Yeah,
that is almost. I'm almost.
You disappointed?
Yeah, we gotta have to take that. You gotta give me another.
But that pregnancy test said,
but it's real though, like because that's when. Because like I was at every appointment, you know what I'm saying? Like every doctor's appointment.
Yeah,
and all
it's not
that.
real yet.
Like it's not. It's not real until that baby comes out and you're actually sitting there and see when Isaiah came out, the umbilical cord was around his neck. So I didn't get to do the whole cutting the cord and all that kind of stuff. I didn't get to do any of that foolishness. And so when he came out, he's crying, he's freaking purple because he almost killed himself. And then he's this stupid little boy.
He was like, yo, I don't like my daddy.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, yo.
This my daddy?
Oh, God. No. This nigga here. No. But like to really, really look at him and like understand that, damn, like my life is really about to change. You know what I'm saying? Like that was for me, it was serious then. Now, if you're asking me what was the moment when I was the most proud, like, dang, I'm really a dad, like that type.
No, we ain't really asked you that, but that's a great question.
That's a good one too. That's a great question.
We can edit this one. That would be kindergarten. At kindergarten, they had a talent show, and Isaiah wanted to do stand-up. And, you know, I do stand-up comedy. And, like, so for him to want to do stand-up, and he wanted to do it, so we were like, yo, we're going to put you together a little 2-minute set. And he went out there, and he did his 2-minute set at, like, 6 years old, man. And it was amazing to see him be a little mini version of me. Like, that's when I was like, dang, man, now this is dope. You know what I'm saying? And then he did it again in 5th grade, and he was a little bit more polished by then, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just for me to be able to be like, dang, like, again, like from what we're saying, like not having my father there to support me and that type vibe, but for me to be there, not only to be there to support him, but to walk him up through it and to help him and for him to trust me with it and then to him to go out there and execute and the people enjoy it. That was the moment when it was like, dang, this is super freaking dope, man.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
a little more like
Let me tell you why, because we all know that until that baby drop, it's kind of a surreal moment.
Yeah.
And so that's always easy. Everyone should, if you're present in your child's life, should kind of feel that way.
Yeah. That's fair.
But even talking about that proud moment, what is your vision as a father?
What are you asking?
Meaning, like, what do you ultimately see as being, I know I want to instill this, I want to instill that, I want to teach this. What is your goal?
From a parenting perspective, man, I would like for my children, first of all, like all of us, I want them to be successful.
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the things that has plagued me as a person. Again, when I say I was a felon at 16, I used to work at Celebration Station, and I'm not sure if y'all are familiar. Celebration Station in Greensboro, it's like Chuck E. Cheese, showbiz, you know, like that type. They have golf carts outside, pizza, games, that type vibe. You did Freddy's, I guess.
Frankie's,
that type vibe. Yeah, that
I don't
type
know
of
that shit either.
You know, God, where you from?
I'm
Landis.
from DC, man.
Y'all ain't got fun spots in
They got
DC.
street lights and
And
small buildings
and robberies and
and rats.
Well, down here we have events places where you can go and have
No,
fun with
we
the
got
children.
Chuck E. Cheese. I got you.
He always talk about, yeah, man, I used to jump fences, and I'm like, who cares?
It's Chuck E. Cheese with go-karts outside.
Got you.
Right? And I used to work there, and, you know, that was like one of the first jobs I had, and they used to take tokens, right? So a token roll was $10. $10 would get you 40 tokens, but they never kept a tab on the token rolls. So I would homies would come up there, give me $10, I give you the token rolls, and I would pocket the $10, embezzling. Got caught.
That joker hustling
Yeah,
tokens.
got caught embezzling. Again, hit me with the felony at 16, and you know, but I was doing that because I didn't know how to make money. I mean, I knew, yes, get a job, get this $5 an hour type deal, but that wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting at the bus stop and cats, they got their Jordans on, I'm with British Knights. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got they daggone
Hey, I had
starter.
felines in Grant Hills.
Bro,
I
what
was
you
fly,
mean?
though.
See, they were clean. I would put the toothbrush to them things and everything.
I was good at that.
But like, so I wanted money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to be cool. You know, like, and those things, like teaching my kids that the money's not what makes you cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're cool already, dude. Like, you're super cool. You're a straight A student. You're an attractive dude. You can hoop. Like, you're confident. You know what I'm saying? You're a man of integrity. That's cool. The money stuff will come after that.
You don't know that when you're young.
You don't.
You don't know that.
But you don't know that because there's nobody telling you that. Because
nobody
the people that
instilling
you're
in you.
looking at driving a nice
Hold on now.
Talk about it.
You're not going to know that when you're young because of the people that you're young around.
Exactly.
Do not subscribe to that. And our kids are influenced by the people that they're
Are you
around.
talking about your peers?
Yeah.
You talking
Their
about
peers.
you talking about your peers.
So no matter how much confidence and how much reassurance we pour into our children,
Right.
do they really grab it as they're young because of who they're around most of the time?
My answer to that is I would like to say yes. And I'm going to tell you why. I would like to say yes because when you give them confidence, like I was insecure because I knew that I had big, thick ass glasses on. I knew that I didn't have the dopest clothes on. So I knew that was an L around my peers, right? So again, that's why I had to be vicious with the words. That was respected by my peers. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't fuck with him. Rile your ass up. You're gonna talk about his glasses, but after that, that's all you got.
Don't
He's
do
gonna
it.
rile your ass for the rest of the day. So it was that type vibe. So that confidence gave me damn, all right, you know what I'm saying? I can hang a little bit. You see?
Okay.
So like
you make up for it another way.
in other
Right,
ways.
okay.
Like my son, like he don't like shoes and all that. He's straight. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what I ask. That goes back to, will he have the same drive because he's already got the Yeezys on at school. You know what I'm saying? He already got the Jordans on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but he still has to, like, he only gets that stuff and he understands he gets that stuff because of his grades.
Gotcha.
He gets great grades. He's a straight A student. Like, he's a respectful individual. Like, it's nowhere I've ever been and they don't come and sing praises about Isaiah.
Gotcha.
Like, everywhere he goes, man, you are raising such a beautiful child. And we praise that. We reward that. We incentivize that. So he gets confidence in knowing if I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm gonna be straight. And if I do what I'm doing this end, they're gonna keep me drip fresh. I'm gonna be able to go to school. I'm gonna get the respect there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, it's a revolving circle of confidence feeding confidence. So to answer your question, I do think that it works that way where he can stand up to stuff that maybe we might have folded in certain elements because we didn't have certain confidence in certain arenas. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Now, you was hitting on something else. I got one little question for you. And that what you were just saying when you were talking about you incentivize. Do you really feel like, because I struggle with this too, and I don't know. Do you feel like we should reward you for what you're supposed to be doing?
Yes.
Okay.
When you go to work and you do your job, you get bonuses.
You know, I've never even thought about it like that.
Because
I've always went back and forth trying to understand. I was like, yo, yeah, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to give you extra. but why am I doing this when I know you're supposed to be doing it? I never put that.
That's how.
Hey, you kind of deep.
A little bit, a little shelf. I got a
like
shelf
that.
in the
I like
back
that. I
pocket.
like that one.
Nah,
I like that
what you think? You think so? You
Man,
don't
listen,
think so?
I hate that question because it triggers me. Because I remember I hate.
He triggered by life.
Nah, it's a baby. Because
I told you.
because I remember I was doing something,
Get them
and I was like, I do all this stuff. She was like, well, you think you should be rewarded for doing what you're supposed to do? I'm like, well, shit, there's a bunch of niggas that's not.
Facts.
But like,
Facts.
like,
Agreed.
yeah, I should be rewarded.
You see
Good
that
shit.
vein coming out his neck.
Like, and you get punished for the
See
things
my
that you don't
goddamn
do.
neck.
I ain't got no neck. I don't care. I'm tall. I'm all right.
Seriously, man. Like, if you're gonna be punished for things that you don't do, I definitely think you should be rewarded when you down.
That's
do
dope.
what you're
I like
supposed
that.
to do.
Yeah.
And
definitely
again, like,
like
it motivates you. Like, if you know that if you do X amount of stuff at work, you're gonna get a bonus. Guess what you're gonna be motivated to do? More work, so that you can get that bonus.
Or
So
figure out a way to kind of slide.
manipulate it. Absolutely, either way. But to them,
gonna
they're
do
gonna
it.
see that
Yeah.
some more work was done.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and so and again, it's not a situation where for every A I'm gonna give you $100. It's nothing like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I
he
got
just
you.
knows that, you know, if them grades ain't right, you can cancel all of this. The basketball, the
Cancel
Yeezys,
Christmas, that's how we do
the
it.
game,
Yeah.
all of that. But as long as you do what you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
bro, it's not too much you can ask for that we're gonna be like, no.
Okay.
what I mean?
No, I love that answer. I like for real one of the best answers that I've gotten from any interview, and it's like, yo,
That's what I do. I'm the best.
I'm not saying
That's
that.
exactly what you're saying. I'm the fucking
No,
best.
I'm.
Did you heard him say that? Did
I'm
you?
definitely
I am
not-
the best.
No.
DJ Khaled. We the best. That's me.
No.
Okay. You're not supposed to treat your guests like this.
I know.
You're not supposed to treat
Hold
your
on.
guests like this.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Please. You're supposed to lie to your guests.
I'm not lying to nobody.
Well, look, I got a question for you.
All right.
Right? Because you had a child relatively young, right? How old were you?
Come on, man. I'm an entertainer. We don't
you
disclose
really-
that.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
when I was
yeah.
young, I was
Yeah, you was
younger
young.
than I am now.
Yeah, definitely younger than you are now.
Look, by the cornrows.
Okay.
You can tell by the cornrows. They half the head now.
Okay.
So, if there's a
Oh man.
this nigga's the oldest
This
one here.
nigga is so fucking dirty to me. If I known I was gonna get treated like this, I wouldn't have showed up. It would have been me and my we just been sitting right there.
Man, look, I ain't think you gonna show up anyway.
Come on, man. Why do people think that? I pulls up, man. What's up, Cambo?
Fuck, I forgot.
God dang it. See?
No. When it comes to your kid in school, right?
Right.
Gets great grades.
Yeah.
How's his attitude in school? Is he the same like class clown as you were, or how is he?
Now my daughter is the class clown.
Really?
Yeah. My son, he's a lot more reserved. He's funny and he does his little stuff, but he don't like getting in trouble. Like he's
Right.
never oh my God, he's far away from that. Now my daughter, she'll risk it all. She's in the 4th grade, she will risk it all. She don't give a damn. And I can't help it, man. Like I love it. Like I love her energy and I love her confidence, man. Like we have a brand, Connect the Dots, which is our family brand.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and we and I really started it for her. We got an Instagram page, and I'll let her do videos, and she'll come up with different ideas, and we'll shoot videos, and I'll let her edit and those type things. And again, like it's just giving her those experiences. Like it's not too many 9-year-olds that's out here chopping up and editing their own videos
Not at
and
all.
posting them on Instagram. You
We
know
ain't
what I
even
mean?
doing it.
See what I'm saying? Like so, like she might have a job for you, baby girl. They say they might need you up here. For real, man. Like, and you know, those are skills that I've learned over the years, and that's our job, man. To sort of find, you know, what it is in our children that they gravitate towards and try to nurture that as much as possible. You know what I mean? And she likes to be entertaining, and I remember I hosted late night in HD for Carolina a couple weeks ago, and as like a professional moment, like that was Mount Rushmore. It was like one of the top 4 professional moments of my life. And you know, afterwards, we were in the ride home, and she was like, "Dad, I want to be like you when I grow up."
Ooh.
And I was like, you know, like my first question was, what does that mean?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like not even on
Yeah.
not even because I knew it was coming from a place of
Yeah.
happiness, but again, everything is communication with me. Like
Yeah.
I don't want you just saying something. I want to be like you, Dad. Okay, thank you, baby. That's great. And I'm assuming that she's saying she wants to. No, I'm not gonna assume. I need you to communicate. What does that mean? And she says, I want to make people laugh. I want to entertain people. And I said, well, I think that's dope, right? I was like, you already make people laugh and you already entertain people. So we just have to figure out the best way to do it where you feel comfortable and, you know, you're
It's
a
true
funny
to
person.
who
It's
she
true.
is.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Now, how hard do you think that's going to be to nurture? Because I know when you were coming up,
Right.
your teachers did not like that.
Right.
Right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And you want her to be free and be herself,
Right.
but you also don't want her getting kicked out of class or all that other stuff. So how do you balance that? Especially if you do it for a living. She's like, well, Dad, I just want to be like you.
Right.
You're like, well,
It's time and place.
yeah.
See, luckily for me, Ryan hates to disappoint me, especially right now.
Okay.
Right. So like if Daddy is upset with her, her world is broken. And she knows that discipline is something that like I've never well, I think I spanked Ryan once and it made me cry. Like I told y'all I don't cry, but that day made me cry.
Aww.
Like yeah, legit. Like it did. I ain't gonna hold you. It made me cry. It did because that's my baby girl, man. Like and I was like, I'll never spank her again. I think I've spanked Isaiah maybe twice in his whole life. And it's been like 10 years since I spanked him. Like I'm not a spanker. Like I don't discipline with force and anger. Like I just feel like we can talk, and I feel like I can take stuff from you that you really enjoy. You know what I mean?
Like
Like yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And so from that perspective, Ryan doesn't like to disappoint. So she knows how she's supposed to act in school, like we all did. So that doesn't mean that she won't act up, but she knows, and I know that because we just had a parent-teacher conference, and the teacher was just telling us how great Ryan's doing. She's a straight A student too, and you know, it was like, well, what's her in the classroom? They're like, well, sometimes she gets a little talkative, but you know, all we really have to say is, now Ryan, I'm gonna have to send a letter home to your dad or your mom, and it's done. Right
Oh
then.
man, I used to
You know
get
what I'm
notes
saying?
sent home all the time.
Oh man, what?
All
I'm
the
in
time,
ISS.
boy. Like, look,
What?
you gotta send notes, get them signed. Hey,
Dude.
I remember that was when I started forging.
Bro,
I'll never forget that.
I forged one time
Oh,
and got
nah.
the wheels beat
Oh,
off me.
let me tell you how bad I was. Let me tell you how bad
Oh, you
I
was nice.
What? I forged for 4 years.
Are you serious? What grades?
K through 3.
No way in hell.
Oh,
You-
shit.
I'm gonna tell you
How?
a true story.
Your mama must have wrote with her feet.
Man, my mom and my brother got the girliest, most beautiful handwriting
How
I've
did
ever
you
seen.
copy that?
I didn't.
He just did
They
everything.
never knew.
But the
So
teachers.
I'm about to give you
Okay.
a full story.
I'm
This
interested.
is bugged out. So when I grew up, that's when we grew up, like we could paddle
Before
to school.
computers and shit.
You're right. Right.
Word, son.
Oregon
But
Trail.
so we could paddle in school.
Right.
So I used to get paddles all the time.
Right.
Either in front of the class or outside the hall from the assistant principal, whatever.
Wow.
They used to send notes home I used to get notes home at least once, twice a week.
Right.
They never made it they made it in my backpack, but
Right.
I would sign them and turn them in. I was in 3rd grade, got called the last time, called to the principal's office. The assistant principal had every single note that had ever been sent home. My mom seen it, and she said, I've never seen these before. Every single one was sitting on his desk from 4 years. She beat me from the hallway of the school all the way through the school till we got in the car, all the way home. My mom and father were still married at the time.
Right.
We had these big, I don't know if you remember, back in the day, we had these big oval wicker chairs.
Yes,
that used
sir.
to be
Everybody had them. That's
so
the
I
paid in full
remember,
chair.
she said,
Your
sit in
parents
that
so
chair
dope.
until your daddy get home. He got home and beat me again.
Yeah.
And from that time, that's when my life changed. and I became a straight A student from that moment.
Wow.
And that's how I lived the rest of my life up until I got,
Right.
got to college.
Yeah, oh, college.
No, high school,
too.
I was a genius.
Man,
But it was after
the teacher should have got beat, man. Yo,
No,
you gotta
man,
be,
it was so bugged out. Like,
From kindergarten
Bro,
to
I
third
will
grade.
never-
what
because
teacher
the
looks
first
at
one-
that and says, "Oh yes,
yeah,
my parent
yeah.
signed this"?
I never forget the first one I ever got. Man, oh my God. The first one I ever got was, I remember, oh man, me too wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't alive back then. But I remember
It
we
is
used to
now, so
take
watch you
naps.
say, boy.
Okay.
Oh, no, it was we taking naps.
Let's go.
Hold on.
alone.
All right. Look, he flex on you again.
I'll take that for this Me Too. You
Hey,
got
but nah, I remember because, back in the day, when we were growing up, it used to be popular to run and smack a girl on the butt,
Oh yeah,
stuff
absolutely.
like that.
I was a pervert.
Yeah, it was all kinds of shit back in the
There'd
day.
be a group of people.
I'm glad you grew. I'm glad you grew. Like
I ain't
whoever.
grow. I ain't grow.
Oh,
I
well,
still do
I'm
that to the
sorry.
wife right now.
Oh, okay. Well, whew, I'm saying glad you threw the wife again. I'm like, yo, don't snitch on yourself.
I be in the clubs.
But yeah, I remember the first one I ever got sent home was a little girl that I used to think that was cute, and I bent down and kissed her on the cheek. Mm-hmm. First note.
Dang.
I will never forget that.
Dang.
And I think my reputation got.
Dang.
And I used to get notes for talking, for
Dang.
talking,
Dang.
for lying, for talking. So yeah, so
I did.
Yeah, it was kind of bugged out, but I don't know where we was at, but
I
that
don't know
was
how we
funny.
got there either, but that was okay. I'm still shocked that there were teachers though. A teacher that would look at this note signed by
Yeah.
a 6-year-old and
Yeah,
say,
for
that was-
sure.
that
I
was
would never
signature.
forget that, yo. That was like I would never, you can't forget the trauma. Cause
Oh,
I got
for sure.
beat.
Yeah, you did.
I
The
got
wheels.
beat. Oh my God, that was so funny.
The wheels. No,
Yeah,
I got that. 3rd grade is when I got caught forging. I'll never forget that, man. It was 3rd grade, and I'm talking about I was not as successful as you.
Oh no, I was
It
successful.
was one time, and one time.
And I had bad handwriting.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Bro, you were 7.
I think because I set the precedent because I never turned it in. And so you always think it, and then you don't have to be able to read it. It's a
Right, right.
signature.
Just
Yeah. I'll go
No,
there.
but see, my mom's signature was so, because she would have to sign stuff, at the beginning of the school year.
Yeah.
So when I went to go sign it and trying to and I'm trying to sign it just like her and just.
And it don't work.
Oh my God, it was so bad for me, dog. But I'm definitely familiar with that beating that happened afterwards.
Oh no, we was talking about you was talking about you don't believe in that and all that.
Oh,
beating
beating.
it.
Yeah. Do y'all beat?
No, not like that. I pop.
Yeah, okay.
I
How old
pop.
are your kids?
I got an 18-year-old daughter, so I don't pop her.
Okay, yeah, that's over. That's over now.
Nah, I got a 6-year-old son.
Okay,
Son is like me.
okay.
It's like I've never seen a 6-year-old with a quick tongue, and he has a combination of me and his mother. It's a bad combination,
Really?
and so it's like I'm talking to me,
Right.
and he's quick enough that I was sick in my I might go play golf. First time he meets some of my people, he was like, "Yo, you suck." He sounds just like me.
Right.
It's funny to me,
Right.
but he tried to say it to me.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta check it.
For sure.
And I don't like repeating. I don't like repeating myself a whole lot. And so if I have to keep repeating, that means you're not paying attention to me.
Absolutely.
And I gotta have to help you kind of pay attention to it.
Absolutely.
So that's the only thing.
Now I'll thump. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm good at thumping.
I'll jack.
I done took up the thumping, like
Yeah,
right in the
yeah.
back of the neck.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear. You a grabber.
I'd grab the.
And make sure you pinch
I'd
it.
grab my shirt. No, I'd grab my shirt and pick him up.
Oh yeah.
I just
Oh,
tried to.
yeah.
I just
Oh, that's
tried
how I
to do
did
shit.
you.
Fuck out of here.
It did right before I came.
Nah.
Who this man feet? Dang.
Nah. That nigga snuck me, man. Snuck me and made me pass out. What? We was in Myrtle Beach. We was in Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this thing that went left.
Eli
yeah,
walked
yeah.
up behind me, started choking my ass. I was on a lot of alcohol and drugs at
Absolutely.
that time.
In Myrtle Beach.
I had no sleep in 36 hours. The
He
first
slept.
time I went to sleep,
Oh, you went to sleep
the
now.
motherfucker picked me up,
Yeah, you was asleep now. You slept.
And I
Yeah,
dropped
cut
him
my-
because I didn't know he was out.
cut
Why
my whole
was-
shit
Y'all
over.
was just playing around. You didn't
So
realize
I
you was
owed
choking?
him from years back because him and somebody jumped me when we was wrestling, and I told him I'm always get it back.
Right.
And
And
I
you
just
that
got
was-
him back.
that was
He
the
just
time to
decided.
do
He
stuff.
just decided the time to get me back
You
was
know
the week
what?
before
I'm about to choke
my
this
maternity shots.
Wow.
Oh
My
yeah,
whole shit was
Oh yeah, he
busted
would have
open.
taken his first baby pictures with.
My whole shit got like a big ass
God.
scar and shit.
So
in the
I
middle of my
always
face.
be part of his parenting life.
Forever.
That shit is bullshit.
And look the smile on his face.
Yeah, I know. Like that's
He
a
look like his
compliment.
son. I ain't never met his son. He look like a 6-year-old right there.
Wonder where he gets it from.
Exactly.
No, I haven't beat my children. I do shit to make them feel like I call myself Thanos to my kids, right? So I just do shit to make them feel like I'm super strong to
Right,
them.
right,
So
right.
like if I want to, I could really fuck you up. In
Right,
here.
right, right.
So I grabbed my son. He started. I remember one
He gonna
time
drink
he.
a pre-workout first.
Shut up.
Pumping Adderall. Whoop their ass.
We was on the back. He was kicking the back of my chair or something, and I said stop, and I hit his foot down. The motherfucker like swung at me.
Yeah.
I unbuckled him, grabbed him by his
sir.
shirt, in the whole back seat of the car. You just see his goddamn body
Yeah.
like this. I don't gotta beat you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do little shit like that so you know.
Yeah.
Stop fucking with me.
Yes.
When I say do something,
You
you
can't
do it.
be a
and
parent
that's
and
it.
a bully at the same time.
Yes, you can.
You can.
No, I agree 100% with that.
That's why I said, man,
I
my
agree
son
100% with
won't
that, dog.
have to worry about nothing with no motherfucking bullies. Like Like, my son got a flat ass back of his head, right?
Me too.
So for the longest time, I called him. My son is 6.
Okay. Oh.
I call him a flathead little boy, right?
Yeah.
I just do shit like that. So but he knows I do it and I love him.
Right.
Right. So when he goes out here and deals with all these other kids talking shit to him, he ain't got to worry about that. He
But
gets
see,
that shit at home.
That's part of the parenting too, though.
Yeah.
Like that's to me.
Thick skin.
That's how dads protect.
Yeah.
Right.
Like moms, again, back to that conversation. Moms are nurturers. They don't want anybody to talk about their babies. We know that it's gonna get talked about. Like my son's teeth was crooked as hell. My teeth was crooked as hell. His teeth were crooked. So I would always joke on his teeth. Now he got braces and stuff, but it's like you do that because you know what's on the other side.
Right.
Once you leave my house, I can't do nothing about that.
Right.
So like, and like I remember one time, Isaiah, he might have been like 8 or 9, and me and my wife, we were in bed, and he came in to show some homework or something. I don't remember what it was, but I'm sitting here, and the wife is on this side, and I'm sort of like looking on my phone, but I'm peeping, and mom says something that he doesn't like, and mom sort of looks down, and he sort of that kind of shit. So while he goes here to go out of the room, I hop out the bed and catch his ass at the door. I'm talking about jacks his ass up on the door, and I'm talking about I'm in his shit. I'm talking about he pees on himself. That's how much I'm in his shit. And like from that moment, I have not had to touch him since then because like one, you're not gonna disrespect that woman right there. Ever.
For sure.
You're never gonna disrespect her. And I'm always watching, boy. And if you ever think you're gonna disrespect my wife, I will kill you. That's my wife. I will, and like you said, like, of course we won't kill them, but the fact that you think I will kill you, that's important. Because now when we're in public, and I hit you with this look, you're gonna remember getting jacked up on that wall, and you know what? Now you're gonna sit and act like you got some sense.
So that's your version of it. Yo, I brought you into this world.
I will take you out of it. I will take you out of it, for real. And they all be like that. Like, they'll tell you right now, man, Daddy, man, if he make a face, you better sit down because he's gonna, and that right there is worth any beating that you could ever,
nah,
you know what I'm
for sure,
saying?
For
Like,
sure. There's different ways to do it.
Absolutely.
And as long as it works, that's all that
That's
matters.
effective, absolutely. Because our job is to discipline them in the house so that they won't have to be disciplined by the police and the judges when they get outside of the house, man. Because that policing and that discipline is going to be a whole lot different.
Yep.
So you get that experience from being a father for a while, right? So if you had someone that's new to this, a brand new father, what advice would you give them?
You should have strapped up. Same as I gave that youngin' just a second ago. You should have strapped up. No, but again, like seriously, it's life altering. It can be the best thing ever for you. And on some days it's gonna be like, gosh, I did not sign up for this. There are days where you just feel like I did not sign up for this, dog. Like I don't feel like doing this. But as much as you have to go to work to pay your bills so that you can live, you have to invest that time in that child so that they can live when you're no longer here, dog. And that's the most important thing, that we're instilling the values in them and the integrity in them to be not only great representations of us in our absence, but just great representations of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just being better versions of us as they represent our family and our namesake, man. Like, but to a new dad, I would say, listen, it has its great moments. It has its shit times. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the good times far outweigh the bad times, man. Like when you sit there and you actually, like you said, you look at your son, it's like looking at a little me. Like we all feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at your child, it's like, gosh, you are gonna be in so much trouble in a couple of years because I know what you're gonna be doing. Like I know what you're thinking, and to know that my daughter is me scares the hell out of me. Like I'm talking about like from sex. Like I just know how horny I was. I know how much of a pervert I was. Like, and my daughter and our relationship, my wife gets mad sometimes because like I still kiss she's 9. I still like I kiss her in the mouth. Like, you know, like that's my baby, dog. Like it's nothing sexual. That's my baby, you know. But wife is like, stop kissing her so much. You know, stop kissing her so much. You know, and I'm like, stop sexualizing our relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what we're doing. Like, and when she's 30, if I want to kiss her, I should be able to kiss her. And that's just how I feel now.
All right, her dude gonna check you.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. And me and my daughter will jump his ass because she ride with me, ho. So whoever's out there 21 years from now, me and my daughter gonna whoop your ass before you come up on us the wrong way. But again, though, knowing the qualities that you had, the good and the bad, that you've instilled in your children, sort of scares you sometimes because you know what they're capable of and what you were capable of and that type vibe. And, you know, I'm so thankful that, especially as far as like integrity and education is concerned, like the kids really take more on mom's side.
Yeah.
And I love that. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that they enjoy bringing home straight A's. Like my son will legit cry if he bring home a B.
Yeah.
Like if he don't make the A honor roll, he is sick. Like he made a D.
Yeah.
And this is from somebody who was happy to bring straight C's home. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I always tell them, like my son knows, like I tell him now, like I showed him my high school transcripts and I just told him how embarrassed I was to show him that.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, yo, like, and it wasn't because I was dumb. You know what I'm saying? It was just because I didn't
care.
It wasn't incentivized as much.
Yeah,
I would get way more props from my peers, right?
Yeah.
From being entertaining. My peers didn't give a damn about me getting good grades. My mom, she cared, but not to the point where she would incentivize it. It was more like, you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I'm supposed to do it, then I'm gonna do just enough to get by.
Yep.
But I'm gonna do what I enjoy doing in school. Like when I got to school, that was my playground. You know what I mean? Like I skipped one day of school in my entire career, and that was senior skip day.
Oh, wow.
That's the only day I ever skipped in school,
them
dog.
C's and them D's now. You might skip.
That's on I got the same type of grades. I got D's and failing, but that was because I was skipping school.
Word.
Yeah.
You was a
totally
skipper?
different. Yeah.
What would you do?
Nothing.
That's the point.
But you know what was
like
stupid?
everybody that was your homies was in school.
You know what was stupid? I would go to practice though. That
would
wasn't
skip
that
school
wasn't,
and
that
go to
wasn't
practice?
allowed, but I would do that shit. I would skip school and go to practice.
I never knew what I wasn't running the streets like smoking and shit like that. Like the homies, then they would steal cars and all types of shit. I was never, because I didn't never want to get in
Jersey
trouble. For sure. They used to be lit. I'm talking about these fools would steal cars and drive them to school, like, and just leave them parked in the park. Like, you freaking idiots.
Yeah, shit.
They would do that. Like,
That's what they did for fun in D.C.
See? DC Drive. But I was always scared of punishment.
Yeah.
I was always scared to go to jail. I was never the dude that, I knew that I could not sell dope because I knew that I liked money and I knew that I wanted money. And I knew that if I started selling dope and got money the way they was getting money, I never would stop selling dope.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was no retirement plan for selling dope. Like you're gonna go to jail, or you're gonna get killed. Like those are the only two options. And so that wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I never was part of that bad crowd that would put themselves in risk to go to jail or do something like that. But I really don't know how we got here, but
Hey man,
Fuck it. Here we are.
Look, that joker
are.
talk for a living.
Fuck it.
Look,
Here we are.
We'll go down the rabbit hole in a heartbeat.
Legit. Now y'all make it easy though, man. Like this is a dope platform, man. Like
Well,
even when
we
they
know
hit
we
me
dope.
up. No. I said the platform. Didn't say anything about you.
Hey man, look, nah.
Nah, dad should be celebrated though.
Nah, for sure.
Like for real. Like that's why I like
sure.
this platform. Like that's why when, it was presented to me, like I was definitely, I don't think it was gonna come. Fuck yes, I'm gonna come. but no, like I think this is dope, and I do think that fathers, black, white, but most importantly in our demographic of black fathers, the stigma that's put on us of being absent and that type vibe, like
For
this
sure.
platform is necessary, man, because representation matters, dog. Like you need to see that, there are dudes that don't mind wearing their wedding rings, and there are dudes that care about
long
raising
as
their
it's black.
children. Gotta have that black one. Gotta have that black one. You feel me? Gotta have that. Like, that's important, man. Like, and I think that somebody gonna love you, man.
One
Somebody
day.
gonna love you
One day.
dog. Red. Somebody gonna love you.
Red. I used to lie and say that was my name. I got this shit when I was in high school.
Don't nobody
I
care.
got my
But
tattoo.
anyway.
Shut the fuck up, Eli. That shit when I was 15.
These
Used to lie that was my
think they
name.
hate each other, but these is our friends act right here. Fuck you, Eli.
Yeah, man, it's disrespectful, man. It's all right though.
No, this is dope.
So, get you out of here on this. When they lay you, your cornrows, your joke book, your bad slides, your final resting place, what do you want your legacy as a father to be?
Well, first I would hope that they don't bury me in no flannel shirt or anything like that.
Hey, you better leave me alone.
As far as a parent, man, like my legacy is gonna be definitely cemented as he was great. Yeah. Like I wish that I was as good of an entertainer I wish I was as good of a radio personality. I wish I was as good of a husband as I am a father. As intentional as I am to make sure that I'm doing that right. I sincerely mean this, guys. I wish I could put that intentionality towards every facet of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's something that, again, that's something that I don't want to fail at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the sad thing about parenting is you don't know if you're doing this shit right at all. You don't know, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, the sad thing, I want them to say he was a great parent, but that's all gonna be contingent on what my kids are doing when they lay me to rest.
Yeah.
If they're successful, if they feel loved, if they felt like, man, my dad really loved us, he sacrificed for us, then I don't give a fuck what they say. As long as those two people and my wife are happy with how I left it, that's all I give a damn about. But if, God forbid, they're in horrible situations, was I a good parent? You know what I'm saying? Like, and, you know, I even with my marriage, you know, there have been times when my marriage has suffered, and, you know, me and my wife separated for a while, and it was a situation where I knocked my parenting because of that. Because I said to myself, like, if I'm not in the house, you know, helping raise my kids, am I being a good parent? You know, those are things that I really had to deal with on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are things that I had to go to therapy and really talk about, like, because, you know, parenting is not just how you interact with the kids. Parenting is how you operate outside of the house, at work, because they're watching all of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're watching dad, what is dad doing? How's dad treating mom?
It's easy to forget that too, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Because very selfishly, you want to live your own life. But you have to understand that when you do put this ring on, when you do sign those birth certificates, your life is not just your life anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have responsibilities and you have a life that you owe to others. And, you know, like, again, but for what I want my story when, like, 60 years from now when I'm laid to rest, because that's how long it's going to be, 60 years from now, I'm going to live to be 102.
Okay, good.
That's
I
a
believe
fact.
you can.
You just told
That's
me
a
not
fact.
to something about your age.
That's a fact. I'm going to live to be 102. But when I get there, I definitely want it to be said that I was a great father, 100%. And I want it to be said from Isaiah and from Ryan.
That's the,
You know, I don't
that's the
care,
true
like-
judges.
Absolutely. Like, people around, oh man, he's such a great dad.
Yeah.
Every time I see you, dad, you posting pictures with your kids and da-da-da. That shit don't mean shit. I can post up pictures and make anything look like anything.
For sure.
And then the kids will be like, he wasn't really there. Like, he was damn gone. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Like,
took a picture and left.
facts.
The photo op. What they call it?
Facts. And there's
Take
so
a
many
picture in
people that
front of
do
the Christmas
that.
tree and then gone.
That's it. You want to look like a good father. You want to look like a good parent. I don't want to look like a good parent.
Yeah.
I want to be a good parent.
It's that work that you have to put in to do it.
And that's necessary.
Yeah.
And it has to be intentional.
For sure.
It has to be intentional.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, man. Talking to you and that intentional word that you said many times is poignant.
That's right.
And for you to take your time to come down here and sit with us and talk about it and share your story, share your insight. I mean, you know, laugh and play around, but the gems and the knowledge is there.
That's love.
And we really appreciate you.
I
Even
appreciate
though,
y'all.
you know, we didn't know if you were coming or not. But,
Well,
you
you'd
know,
promised me
I'm glad.
a flannel shirt. I would have damn pulled up so fast.
You know what?
God done, they got flannel quilt shirts for me. Beam me up, Scotty.
Hey, this joker said, yo, I didn't know if your shirt had bleach in it. I said,
Yeah, I looked at it.
I said,
look
look,
all
everybody don't walk around in spandex shirts.
Oh, God.
I gotta show them back on pants. I ain't mad at you.
Hey,
Niggas all
hey,
falling.
look, I can't
Flex
do it.
on 'em,
Hey,
dog.
look,
This
I gotta hit
motherfucking
the
picnic
gym.
table over here talking shit to me.
It's all right. Hey, look, I can't trust nobody that don't wear a belt. But it's
Very good point. Very good.
but nah, all seriousness, man.
Looking at my pants for a bitch.
Hey, look. Hey, come on, man. Stop being so rude. Stop being rude. But nah, yo, good conversation.
No, for
AJ
sure.
and I talked about it. We were excited, man. We
Couldn't
just
wait to
thank
have
you.
it.
No, for sure, man. Like, as soon as I walked up, man, folks down was letting me know it was nothing but love, and they definitely listen and support the show, man. I appreciate everybody that listens to 102 Jams. I appreciate everybody that supports my social media, B Daht TV on Instagram and my Connect the Dots platform. And I just, I'm blessed, man.
Man, tell everything else you got going on, man. I mean,
it's a
you
list,
that
man.
guy.
It's a list, man. Like, again, man, I'm really, really blessed, man. Like, but I'm blessed because, one, I really feel like I'm blessed because I'm doing right. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a time, seriously, man, there was a time where I wasn't necessarily living right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and once I started to really focus on being a good husband and being the leader of my home and that type vibe, like, God's been blessing me exponentially, you know, and I've really put some direction on my life. And, you know, I get to do PA for the Greensboro Swarm if you're ever in the Greensboro area. I'm a huge Tar Heel fan. They just booked me to be the arena host. I'm the official host for Carolina basketball. Official. And that was dope, man, because like I always, for the last year and a half, I was calling myself the unofficial mascot of Tar Heel basketball.
You look like a mascot.
I do look like a mascot. You do too. You do too. And from there, like I sort of created my own lane. To where now, like Coach Hubert Davis has brought me in, and AD Bubba Cunningham, and they've given me not just a position, but a check. Amen. All right. Hey. And life is good, man. Like I'm just anything dealing with sports and comedy, man. Like I'm touring with Lil Duval right now, and got about 6-8 dates with him, and life is just good, man. Life is good, man.
Continued success, man. And like I said, man, we'll talk to you soon, and thank you for everything, man.
No, I appreciate that.
All right, Bo.
Hey,
love to see it.
For sure. Yes, sir. Hey, do the shimmy one time.
I ain't doing that shit.
Come on, man.
Thanks for watching another episode of the Just My Baby Daddy podcast. For past episodes, go out to our YouTube channel at Just My Baby Daddy podcast. Subscribe, like, share. Thank you.